Alright guys, once again welcome to my kitchen. Tonight we are going to prepare some chicken piccata, which was the next dish you would have been doing had we went back to school. I'm doing a slight hack though. In this bowl I have chicken tenders. They are much easier to deal with and they don't end up with such a gigantic cutlet once you pound them out. So I also have a gallon Ziploc, which is very easy to use as well. If you put 2 or 3 in at a time, you can seal it shut, you don't make a mess, and you can get them pounded out where you need them. So this dish serves about 6 people, okay? So you need that. We'll move that aside. And as you notice, once again, I have mise en place. To the right over here, I have my pan heating with some oil ready. I've also got some flour, lemon juice, capers, sea salt, pepper, and some lemon. And in the fridge I have some unsalted butter waiting for me, okay? So you're gonna pound these out to about a 1/4 inch. The reason we're pounding these out is so we can have a nice even cook temp and they'll all be done at the same time, okay? And you'll see when I take them out, maybe I can hold it up in the bag for you. They all come out about the size of a nice small chicken breast, which makes it convenient for plating and very easy cooking time. So I'm just gonna put them back in the same bowl, get the others pounded out. And because chicken is, don't want to get it all over and touch other things, I'm using my tongs and we'll go from there. I'm gonna do this one more time when I get done with this batch. But Ziploc is a nice convenient way to eliminate some mess and have easy cleanup, okay? This is traditionally done, it was traditionally done with veal. Remember we had the conversation about veal and that it's not widely available because of the questionable practices done in raising the cattle. So this is quite tasty. It takes on, this is a lemon, and in the recipe I'll post, you'll see that you can use stock or wine. Tonight I'm going to be using wine because I'm cooking from home. It gives it a lot of flavor. All the alcohol cooks out. Okay, but you can substitute or use chicken stock as well. Okay, so I've got a couple more of these to pound out. And eventually I'm probably gonna have to get my hands a little messy because I've got to get these nice salt and peppered, and we're going to dredge them with a little bit of flour. Okay. And this is a very quick dish. It's from, if you guys are familiar with any of the Food Network, Giada de Laurentiis, and it's her recipe. Okay, so I'm going to set this bag aside. We don't need it anymore. So I've got my pan. This has got some hot oil in it, and this has got flour. And unlike some recipes where you do your salt and pepper in your flour, in this case, you salt and pepper your chicken before you dredge it. So this is some sea salt. And some fresh pepper, okay. And I'll try to get a couple of these done so that we can have 2 or 3 going at once. And I dislike doing a lot of dishes, so I try to keep it simple and not use a lot of dishes. Okay. And I've already have the pan heating. I'll slide it over so you can see. But I'm gonna add a little bit of oil in here, a couple tablespoons. We'll let that get heating. And then I'm gonna just dredge this that I've already salted and peppered. This, I have it on this one, so we'll do it in here. Okay. And you don't want it, this has not got a heavy coating of flour like you have when you do chicken, like fried chicken, Colonel Sanders. This has just got a light dredge. What it sets up for is just the little brown bits on the bottom of your pan, as well as some nice caramelization. So you can see this is nice, and you should be able to hear some sizzle. Yeah, a little bit, it's hard. But there is some sizzling going on, guys. And this pan will do probably anywhere from 3 to 5. I have a fairly large skillet. I'll move it over here in just a minute so you can see. Okay. Once again, you're going to shake off the excess flour. We don't want lots of flour. This is going to have what we would call a beurre blanc sauce, which is a white wine sauce. It's also got some lemon juice in it for some acidity, and I'm going to add some lemons to mine as well. I like mine a little tartar. The recipe does not call for it, but if you like tart food, you can also do it with yours. And I use those same lemons, then I'll garnish with some lemons as well. So, like I said, pretty quick recipe once you get this going. And on the side, I have a platter ready as well, because this will be done in a couple stages. Once again, shake off your excess flour. And work it right. I may be able to actually get all of the chicken in the pan. We'll see. Okay. And you could have used another sheet pan to lay these in so you could have them all salt and peppered at once. But I'm not too concerned, and like I said, I don't like doing a lot of dishes, so I'm gonna save myself some time with the dishes and just get them done. There we go. And I'm using a non-stick pan, guys. You don't have to use one. I just happen to have one of my larger pans is non-stick, and I definitely want to have a nice large pan for this. Okay. And as they're cooking, I'm moving some of my ones that have been in there a little longer up the side of the pan where it's a little less heat. And I think I can get them all in here. Okay. And I want to get these last two, get them seasoned fully in the bowl. And you'll see as they shrink, you can usually get a little bit more in the pan. Okay. Be ready to flip a couple of my first ones here. See if we can get this in there. Right. Okay. Almost there, and then you'll be able to see what they look like in the pan. I'm going to turn my pan up a little bit. You want to get these to a nice golden brown. And these are not quite there yet, so I'm going to turn my heat up just a little bit. And I'm not gonna be able to fit the last one in, so I'm gonna wait, see if we can get these nice and brown before I finish, but I can transfer this and have it ready to go. All right. Let's set this aside and wipe down the flour that's all over. And let's see if I can get this to come a little closer. So I'm just using the burner you see me use at school. Fairly large skillet. Okay. And we're just gonna make sure these get nice and brown before I flip them. Okay. So you can't really see yet, not brown, but they're nice, even, flat. From start to finish, roughly 24 minutes is what she says. I would say that's pretty correct estimation. And for the recipe, I'll post it online as well with the video. Very simple dish, but pretty impressive. You could serve this with some rice or some fresh pasta. Nice light salad. Perfect dinner. Okay, so we're getting a little brown. I'm gonna flip them. Said I've got this up pretty high. And like I said, the object is not to make gravy like you would if you were cooking Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's not the object here. The object here is to get them just a nice brown, get them cooked through, and it's not like it has a crispy crust. We're going to be finishing this with a sauce made from the capers and the lemons. And my pan is nonstick, so I really didn't need the extra olive oil. They say if you do them in 2 batches, I had a big enough pan, but I'm getting mine in 1 batch. I don't need extra olive oil. So I can also set aside this pan. And we're just waiting for these to cook. Then I have my capers ready, which I've used my tablespoon. I have my white wine and the lemon juice. As soon as I pour out the wine, I will measure my lemon juice and put it in as well. Okay? And we're getting done pretty good. Why that's going? I am going to quickly wash my tongs, so this is going to keep going. I'll be right back. Alright, my last couple are almost ready to go. The reason I wash my tongs is I really don't want all that gummy flour that's collected on there. And you'll also get any raw chicken residue out that you have. So nice hot water, soapy. I'm going to take a peek. I still got these last 2. And I'm going to maybe switch those to the center, so they can get a little bit more of that direct heat. But everything's looking very good. It's still nice and juicy, okay? Get my last 2 in the center. We'll let them get cooked through. And this is just very lightly brown. It's really not much color on them, just a little. And if you do get too much brown, it's not going to hurt it, because what you want to do once you're done, these are going to get taken out of here. We're going to add some lemon juice and some wine, capers, And we'll reduce that for a little bit. Then we're gonna put our chicken back in. And when we get ready to plate it, we'll put it back on the platter. And we will finish our sauce by adding our cold butter to it. Okay, it is still in the fridge. You want to have it very cold because you don't want it to turn into melted butter. Part of the reason it works so well in this dish is because you need that cold butter. You stir it in and make an emulsion out of it. You're going to remember back to our first unit of eggs, we made mayonnaise, which remember is an emulsion. So we will be creating a sauce made from an emulsion. Okay? So right now I'm just trying to get these a little color on them. I don't want them too bland. I got my heat all the way up on this little burner, but let's see if we can give them just a little bit of color at least. Okay. And my butter is going to be about 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. We've already got salt on our chicken. Really don't need a whole lot more. Okay, and I'm getting some nice color on these. Got a couple that still could use a little bit of color. And like I said, it's not very dark. You're not keeping it crispy. These are going to go back in a pan with our sauce. Okay, so I'm going to try to get any little bits that are left on our pan. What they call deglazing. We'll be deglazing with our lemon juice and our wine. And it's a non-stick, so probably not a lot of deglazing. So you don't have to worry at home if you don't have a non-stick. It's not necessary to use a non-stick, okay? And it's looking delicious. So we're almost there. I'm going to start taking off some of the ones that are already brown. I just have a platter over here on the side that I'm going to put them on, same platter, because these are fully cooked at this point, so I don't have to worry about any cross-contamination of raw. Okay. So my brown ones I'm going to put over there. And let these last ones. And some of my chicken, some of the pieces are coming off, that's fine. Just scoop them up. Put them in the platter. And sorry about the dogs. I have a little Dachshund and a gigantic Rottweiler, and they're kind of being locked out of the kitchen. They're not too happy about it. So they think they might get some, but they're not gonna. So. And I hope all of you guys are helping your families at home since we're stuck at home right now, doing shelter in place. Put those cooking skills to use and help them out. You know, I don't know if your parents are still working. You know, some jobs we still got to go in and go to work. So if they are, definitely help them out. Cook one meal by yourself or help them, you know, do the sides. So that is, as you noticed on your worksheets, worth 50 points. It's your lab. I'm giving you some major points for doing lab work at home, okay? So I've just got one little crunchy bit left. I'm gonna take it out to this pan. I'm gonna add my wine, and it's gonna get pretty sizzly because this is hot. Not as bad as I thought. So that is about a half cup of wine. I'm gonna add to that a 1/3 cup of lemon juice. And you can squeeze fresh, or you can just use bottled. I'm using bottled, but I also have fresh lemons here on the side that I'm going to use to help make my sauce. So there's my lemon juice, my wine. Like I said, you could use stock instead if you would like. So there's those two. And then I'm also going to add capers. Capers are flower buds, and they've been brined. They're very salty. They have, I would say you taste salt more than you taste anything else in them. So we're gonna get this to come up, get nice and hot, reduce a little bit, get any brown bits off the side of our pan. And because I like lemon, I'm gonna add some lemon to mine right now. This is not in the recipe you'll see, but if you're watching, and you want to try it at home, you can. I kind of picked my slices that aren't the prettiest because there was a lot of seeds in this lemon. And I saved my nice ones to use for garnish on top. And I may take those and just dip them in here briefly. These ones I'll leave in here. We'll let them cook down really well and become part of our sauce. When you leave your lemon slices in, it becomes a little bit more rustic, and that's okay. You know, if you don't want that look, you don't have to use them. So I'm going to take my nice ones, kind of put them on one side so I can scoop them back up. I just want to get some of the raw acidity out of them. Okay, so we'll give them a slight cook. And I know you can't see, but I have a nice little simmer going in my pan so that some of this will reduce. Okay. And remember, when you are considering what you are going to garnish your plate with, which is simply decorating your plate, you want to make it look appetizing. You usually decorate or garnish with something that is in your dish. And since this dish has lemon juice in it, I'm going to garnish with lemons. It's a very, easy one to do on this one. Lemons in it, garnish with lemon slices. So, and I think I'm going to take the ones out I do want to use for garnish. Like I said, I saved my nice ones. We're going to put them back in our little container here. And then I can put them on when I have my finished dish. So this just cooks, I don't know how long she said, about 5 minutes she says, okay? And you're just reducing some of this liquid, okay? And so I've got my nice lemon slices out. My not so nice ones are gonna stay in here and help season this sauce, okay? And why we do this, we're going to put this back in. We want it to get just a little bit of this flavor in it. So, and what will also help is the little bit of flour we have on our chicken will help to thicken the sauce as well. So we're reducing it a little, using some of our brown bits from our chicken. And this will make our chicken nice and heated through as well. Once we get ready to plate, then I'm gonna do my butter in here. So we're gonna just let this simmer for, I don't know, we probably got about 3 minutes left of our 5 minutes here. Let it simmer, turn them over a little bit so that the sauce hits both sides of your chicken, gets it nice and thoroughly immersed in our flavors. And this is not, like I said, it's not an American dish where you have gravy. This is a sauce, so we're not going to have tons of it. Okay, that's one of the reasons you're putting your chicken in now, is because we want that flavor to seep into our chicken, and then it's going to get sauced. With gravy, you put a lot more on. We're not doing that with this. We just want a little bit. Okay, so while this is cooking, I'm going to step away and grab my butter that's in the fridge, and I'll be right back. This is getting nice and bubbly. The flour is thickening some. It's really, really beautiful. Okay. If you do use whole chicken breasts, which she uses in the recipe, she tells you to butterfly them. And butterflying is simply taking your large, thick breasts, oftentimes they're, a good ½ inch or so thick, and you're gonna slice it horizontally through the middle of it. So you have two nice, thinner pieces. And then you take those two thin pieces and pound them to within that 1/4 inch thickness. So this is nice and thick now. I'm going to remove my chicken onto the platter again. And I'm going to finish my sauce. Like I said, it's traditionally called a beurre blanc sauce when you use white wine and butter. Okay. And we'll scoop them back up on this pan. Everything looks lovely. Like I said, a couple of my chicken pieces came apart, so we're just gonna scoop those up. Hard for you to see, but I have beautiful, beautiful. So now I'm gonna get this butter in, and typically we put it in, try to stir it a piece at a time, and you keep your dish moving. You do not want the butter to sit there and melt and create a little oil slick from the fat. You wanna incorporate, remember we're working on an emulsion. So just like our mayonnaise, you wanna keep it moving. And believe it or not, this butter helps thicken the sauce and adds flavor, richness and flavor to it. So there's one piece, it's all melted. I'm gonna put another one in, maybe two, because I got them kind of thin. If I can keep them moving and not have them melt, you know, in one spot where they make a pool of fat, you're good. And if I was using a non-stick pan, I would maybe use a whisk for this part, but because I have a non-stick pan here, I don't want to use a whisk, and my tongs are coated with silicone. So, okay, those two are in there, so go again. Remember, just keep it moving. You'll have a nice velvety, opaque sauce when you're done. So, and this is 2 tablespoons of butter that I've cut into pretty thin pieces. They're small, thin pieces so that they melt quickly. But you want to keep them cold. Like I said, you don't want them to be hot because then they don't emulsify as well. Okay? You need that cold butter. That's part of the process of making this beurre blanc sauce. So, and I encourage you, if you are at home, to give this recipe a try. It looks very pretty, it tastes delicious. It's a nice upscale recipe, but it's very simple. Okay? And you can find all kinds of recipes for this online. Like I said, I added the lemon slices to mine because I like very tart. And that comes from a Rachel Ray recipe. So that's the last of my butter, and as soon as this is done, we will be able to eat. I wish you could smell it through there and be able to see it like I do, because it's beautiful. It is just this lovely light lemon color with little pops of green from the capers, and this is done. I'm going to take it off my heat. This is a sauce you can't make ahead of time, okay? So I am going to now just pour this over my pan, or my platter of chicken over here. Scoop out all that good sauce. And we'll move this out of the way so you can see. Okay, and then I'm going to take the lemons that I'd pre-done. Even though the lemons that are in here look beautiful as well, I'll just do a row of lemons right across the top of my sauce. Get the rest of the capers in. And this is chicken piccata. I'll try to move a little closer so you can see. It is amazing. Give it a try at home, guys. It is amazing. Have a good week. We will talk to you later.